Hello, dweebs, ladies and germs. This is Spank the Monkey for my second video. This time I will be unboxing Commander 2020 Precon, which is the Timeless Wisdom. So I've actually opened three other commanders from this set. That would be Calamax, Cathril, and Jirina. And I have to say that I actually enjoyed those Precon decks. Although I've upgraded these decks already, I'm still using them and I'm having a lot of fun playing these Precons. So for this particular unboxing, I will be opening up the fourth of that set, which is Timeless Wisdom. I think this is also the most valuable among the five sets that came out for that year. So let's see what this Precon has to offer. So let me just open this. We have the oversized card, and at the back we do have some of the sort of flavor for this particular product. Choose your commander and carve out your path to victory in this unique multiplayer Magic format. Team up with Gavi to cycle through your deck and find the perfect tools for every situation until you can fuel a massive game-winning turn. And then you have Bralin and Shabraz as the alternate lead singers. And then you can have a Cat Beast over there, and then you have the sort of contents of this particular product. You have a deck box, you have the 100 card deck with 17 new cards, and 10 double-sized token cards. Alright, let's get to opening this particular product. So I got this from a local LGS. This is actually hard to find now, considering that this came out, when was this, maybe 2019, I suppose. So let's put this away. So this is the oversized card. Let's pull it out. Gavi, Nest Warden. So let me put this away first. Alright, so for the commander, it's Gavi, Nest Warden. It's blue, red, white, and two colorless. Legendary creature shaman, human shaman. You may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost for the first card you cycle each turn. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. And in the flavor text it says, "A mother's love transcends species." That's pretty cool. 2/5. Right, and you can see at the back there seems to be some type of creature, and another one over there. Pretty interesting. So let me put that away over here. Alright, so this is the box. Here you go, Timeless Wisdom. Let's see what it has. Okay, so you have a life wheel. Going up to 40. I thought these are actually pretty cool. When I remember, I just started playing Magic again 6 months ago. And the last I had played was prior to year 2000. So at that time there was still no commander format, and it's interesting to see now how the game had branched out, and there's a lot more, I would say, flavor in playing Magic, especially with the commander format. Alright, so it comes with a what do you call this, like a pamphlet, a rule book, or what does it say? So playing Magic, it gives you a description of what it does. So playing the deck. So first we have Gavi, Nest Warden as the primary commander, and then the secondary commander would be Akim, the Soaring Wind, and then you have partner commanders Bralin, the Sky Shark Rider, and Shabraz, the Sky Shark. So playing the deck, Timeless Wisdom lets you do something every Magic player loves: draw lots and lots of cards. Gavi, Nest Warden is an eccentric human who lives in the wilds, nurturing and protecting her adopted little litter of cat dinosaurs. She excels at finding resources to support her family. Use the power of cycling to sift through your deck and set up the perfect turn, creating lots of helpful cat dinosaur tokens as you go. Then you have Akim, the Soaring Wind. It's a ferocious dinosaur bird that roams the skies of Ikoria with its avian flock. With Akim as commander, the deck is less focused on cycling and discarding, but still takes advantage of the abundant card draw to power up your battlefield. If you're excited about drawing cards and making lots of tokens, Akim can lead you to victory. In the world of Ikoria, some people form a special magical bond with a monster. So we have Bralin, Sky Shark Rider, and Shabraz, the Sky Shark. They share such a bond, along with a love of adventure that makes them excellent traveling companions. That's quite funny. This cloud swimming daredevil duo rewards you for drawing and discarding cards. Just so happens to be what cycling is all about. So over here you have the rules. No need to go through that. Let's take a look what's at the back. Oh, okay, so here you go. A little backstory for each of these lead singers. You have Gavi, adopted as surrogate mother to an orphan litter of baby cat dinosaurs, has a connection to the creatures of the world that few could ever imagine. Though she's not a bonder, she commands the respect and often fierce devotion of even the most ferocious dinosaurs that roam Rogrin's crags. Then you have Kim, the soaring wind. Interesting art over there. And then you have a Bralin and the Sky Shark, Sharknado. Alright, so this is pretty interesting. Let me put this away. And here we go. This is the deck of cards, and then you have the packaging. I thought that the packaging was quite adequate. However, I would prefer that they use less plastic and just make it as simple as possible, since anyway what's important is really this stuff, right? And not necessarily the packaging itself. Alright, so let's get this open. Okay, here we go. Let me put this aside. Right, so we have the commander. It's a mythic foil. So let's do this. Let me just take out the mana base first and the tokens, so we can set that aside for now. Okay, here we have the tokens. We have the non-basic and the basic lands. Let's put that over here. And I think there's another set of lands up in the back, so let's take them out. Okay. Right. Let's put that over there. Okay, and then let's take out the promo card. Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's take a look first at the tokens, and then let's look at the mana base, the cards of the deck, and then the commander. Alright, so we have for the tokens, we have 10 double-sided tokens. We have Dinosaur Cat, very, very cute. Kind of gross though, with these bony spurs coming out of the Count's body. Well, I guess because it's a dinosaur. And then at the back you have a little birdie. Alright. And then over here we have Spirit Token and Treasure! Yeah. Pretty good token over there. We have a nice Soldier Token and an Elemental in the back. And then we have two more red Elementals, 3/1. Oh, and on the back we have an Angel, 4/4, and a Kraken. Release the Kraken! Alright, and then we have an Insect, blue-red, and a Drake. Alright, and then we have a Human Soldier over here, and at the back, another Drake. Right? Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So let me just put that away over here. Okay, and let's go through the lands. Alright, let's put the lands together, I mean the basics, so that we can go through the non-basics together. Alright, so for the non-basic land we have the Exotic Orchard, Hostile Desert, so taps for colorless, and then you can exile land and make it an elemental creature. Right, Irrigated Farmland, it's a tap land that you can cycle, and well, it's a plains and an island, so good for fetching. You have a Prairie Stream, pretty good. Shivan Reef. I think you call this an Ouchland, right? For blue and red. Sky Cloud Expanse. An Ash Baron that you can do basic land cycling. And then you have a bounce land over here, Azorius Chancery. Another one, a red-white Boros Garrison. Then you have the staple Command Tower, very useful. And then you have a Desert Fervent, again, which allows you to cycle the card. And another cycling one, this time for blue, Desert of the Mindful. And then for white, you have Desert of the True. And then over here, we have a Drifting Meadow. So it's a tap land that you can cycle as well. Forgotten Cave for the red. And another bounce land for Is It Boilerworks. And then a cycling Lonely Sandbar. So, you know, I live in the Philippines, and we do have a lot of beaches over here, and you probably would see a sandbar like this almost anywhere in the Philippines if you had a chance. Yeah, so it's another cycling card. Then we have the Myriad Landscape. Comes in the battle tapped. You can sacrifice and search for 2 basics. We have a Mystic Monastery in the Jeskai colors. Comes in the battle tapped. You have a Reliquary Tower. You have no maximum hand size. Okay, adds for colorless, which is good because ideally for this particular deck you would be drawing cards, right? So that would really be useful. And then we have a Remote Isle over here. Secluded Steppe, another white cycling land. Smolder Crater for red. Temple of the False God, sometimes useful, sometimes not, especially in the early turns. And then we have the basics. We have 5 islands, 4 plains, and 6 mountains. Put that over here. Alright, so let's get to the meat of the deck, the meat and potatoes. Alright, so we have a Cryptic Trilobite. So it's casting cost of X and X, and when it enters the battlefield, you can put 1/1 counters equivalent to X. And you can remove a 1/1 counter to add 2 colorless, and then you can pay 1 and tap to put a 1/1 counter on Cryptic Trilobite. Okay, it's a rare, and then we have a Dismantling Wave. So it's 2 and white. For each opponent, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Alright, okay. And then cycling for 6 and 2 white. When you cycle Dismantling Wave, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Pretty cool. Interesting. And then we have Herald of the Forgotten. You have a flying lion with wings and horns and a tail. Okay, it's a cat beast. When Herald of the Forgotten enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return any number of target permanent cards with cycling abilities from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow. Alright, so this can sort of restart your deck once you've cycled through a lot by bringing in all of those cycling cards from your graveyard. And then you have the Crystalline Resonance, or Crystalline Resonance. For 2 and blue, it's an enchantment and another rare. Whenever you cycle a card, you may have Crystalline Resonance become a copy of another target permanent until your next turn, except it has this ability. Alright. Then you have an Ethereal Forager, 4 and 2 blue. It's an Elemental Whale. Alright, with Delve, and it's flying. Whenever Ethereal Forager attacks, you may return an instant or sorcery card exiled with Ethereal Forager to its owner's hand. Okay. Oh, and here we go. So this is the most expensive card of the entire set of commanders for Commander 2020. And to be honest, this is the only reason why I bought this deck, because I've been trying to chase around for a Fierce Guardianship for my collection for, you know, maybe the past couple of weeks. I couldn't find anything, so decided to just shop around for the Commander deck. So I believe this is by itself, I don't know, is this a $40 card? I think it is. And should pay for the deck itself. So this is something that I'm looking forward to using in my decks. So it's 2 colorless and 1 blue instant. And if you control your commander, you may cast the spell without paying its mana cost. So it counters target non-creature spell. So this is very good for those blue counter decks. So great to have this in my collection. Okay, moving on, we have an Agitator Ant. That's a very, very scary looking ant. So it's 2 and red. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on creatures they control, and then they get goaded if they put counters this way. Then we have a Spell Pyre Phoenix. Alright, so it's 3 and 2 red. It's 4/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you can return target instant or sorcery with cycling ability. And then at the beginning of each end step, if you cycle 2 or more cards this turn, then you can return to your hand if it's in the graveyard. So pretty cool card. Alright, and we have a Surly Badgesaur. So is it supposed to be a badger and dinosaur? But if you look at the art, it kind of looks like some kind of lizard with multiple teeth. Very scary. So whenever you discard a card, put a 1/1 counter on Surly Badgesaur. And when you discard a land card, you can create treasure. And then when you discard a non-creature, non-land card, you can have it fight a creature you don't control. 3/3. Okay, and then we have a Promised Vengeance. You have a nice board wipe over here that you can cycle to give you some options. Astral Drift. Enchantment 2 and white. Whenever you cycle Astral Drift or cycle another card while Astral Drift is on the battlefield, you may exile target creature. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, and you can also cycle it as well. So for phasing out or blinking creatures. Decree of Justice, 2x, XX, 2 and 2 white. You create X for 4 white angel creatures. Creature tokens with flying, you can discard this as well. And then when you cycle it, you can pay X to create soldier tokens. Now we have a mythic over here, Descend Upon the Sinful. It's 4 and 2 white. Exile all creatures, nice. And then it has Delirium. Create a 4/4 white angel creature token and flying if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. So you can wipe the board, put a Lonely Angel on the battlefield, and have it start dealing damage before your opponents can recover. Alright. So 5 and 2 white, we have Eternal Dragon, creature Dragon Spirit. It's a 5/5 flying, and if you pay 3 and 2 white, return Eternal Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only during your upkeep, and you can do plane cycling where you can discard and search for the plane. Hoofprints of the Stag, 1 and 1 white. Tribal Enchantment, Elemental. Whenever you draw a card, you may put a Hoofprint counter on Hoofprints of the Stag. And then you can pay 2 and 1 white, remove 4 Hoofprint counters from Hoofprints, and create a 4/4 white elemental creature token with flying. Alright. And then another mythic, we have Sun Titan. The nice commander staple. So 6/6 Vigilant, and then you can return permanent cards with mana cost 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Good for ETB triggers. Right, then we have for 2 and 2 blue, Creatures Fix, the Curator of Mysteries. So it's another card good for cycling, flying 4/4. Then we have the Drake Haven. It's a 2 and 2 blue enchantment. When you cycle or discard a card, you can create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Okay, and then we have another enchantment, New Perspectives, 5 and blue. So it allows you to draw cards, and as long as you have 7 or more cards in hand, you may pay 0 rather than paying cycling costs. Wow, okay, so this is pretty good. If you have a full grip, and you can just keep cycling cards to take advantage of the abilities of your commander, Gavi. Right, Nimble Obstructionist, 2 and 1 blue. It's a nice looking bird wizard. Flying, flash, and with cycling abilities. And if you cycle it, you can counter a targeted, activated, or triggered ability that you don't control. Pretty good. This gives you a lot of options. And it's a 3-1, so it's nothing to slouch at after either. Right, we have a Portal Mage, 2 and blue. It's Human Wizard, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield during the declare attacker step, you may reselect which player or planeswalker target attacking creature is attacking. Pretty good because it has flash. Very interesting. Right, and we have a mythic planeswalker, Chandra the Flamecaller, for 4 and 2 red. So if you tick it up 1, you can create that 3/1 red elemental creature with haste. For 0, discard all cards in your hand and draw that many cards +1. So good to draw cards. And -X, it deals X damage to each creature. Alright. Okay, then we have Tectonic Reformation for 1 and 1 red enchantment. Each land card in your hand has cycling. Nice. And then another mythic, I think this is our 4th. Isperia, Supreme Judge. So 2 white, 2 blue. It's a legendary creature, Sphinx. It's a 6/4 flying, and whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you may draw a card. Right, pretty expensive to play, but probably has some uses. You have the next card would be a Mercurial Chemister, 3 blue and red, Human Wizard. Pay blue, tap, draw 2 cards. Pay red, tap, discard a card, and deals damage to target creature equal to the discard card's CMC. Okay. Next, another rare, Niv Mizzet the Firemind, 2 blue, 2 red, Dragon Wizard, flying. Whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet deals 1 damage to any target, and then you can tap to draw a card. This is a pretty strong card, I think. Interesting, yeah, and see if there's ways for you to abuse this. And then, of course, you have Locust God, mythic. I think this came in the Amonkhet set. So it's 4 blue and red, flying 4/4. Whenever you draw a card, you create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. So if you pay 2 blue and red, you can draw a card, then discard a card, which would allow you to create that creature token with flying. Then when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, now we go to the artifacts. So we have the Abandoned Sarcophagus artifact. You may cast spells that have cycling ability from your graveyard. If a card that has cycling ability would be put in the graveyard from anywhere and it wasn't cycled, exile instead. We have a Fluctuator. Cycling abilities you activate cost up to 2 less to activate. So that's pretty good. And then we have a Psychosis Crawler. It's 5 to cast, and Psychosis Crawler's power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each monk loses 1 life. So it's good for pinging. Then you have this Bonder's Ornament. I don't really know how useful this is, but yeah. Okay, Arcane Signet, another staple. Mana Rock. And then you have Zoria's Signet, Boros Signet, Commander Sphere, Izzet Signet, and a Soul Ring. Okay, and then another Mana Rock, the Rogrin Crystal. Okay, tapping for Jeskai colors and allows you to cycle as well. You have a Valiant Rescuer, Human Soldier, 1 and 1 white. Whenever you cycle another card for the first time each turn, you can create a 1/1 white Human Soldier creature token, and you can cycle it for 2, so it's a 3/1. Solid card. You have the Boon of the Wish Giver, 4 and 2 blue. Draw 4 cards, and then you can cycle this for 1. So I'm wondering, if you have that what was it, a fluctuator that allows you to reduce the mana cost of cycling. So if you have this in play, could you just cycle this for free? That's how it works, right? Anyway, let me know. But that would be pretty cool. Then we have Neutralize, counterspell with cycling. Ominous Seas, right? So this will allow you to create that 8/8 Kraken creature once you remove these 4 shadow counters, which is done by drawing a card. Okay, then you have Reconnaissance Mission, 2 and 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and then cycle for 2. Then a Rooting Moloch. It's a pretty funky looking dinosaur. Lizard, I suppose. When it ETBs, you exile a card with a cycling ability from your graveyard. Until the end of your next turn, you can play that. Then we have a Savai Thundermane, Elemental Cat for a red and white. And when you cycle a card, you can pay 2 colorless. Then you can have it deal 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life. Zenith Flare, 2 red-white, and you can deal X damage and gain X life, where X is the number of cards with a cycling ability in your graveyard. The Martial Impetus. Alright. Then you have a Psychic Impetus and the Shiny Impetus. So these Impetus aura enchantments, not too sure how good they are, but anyway, I in the other commander decks that I have from this set, I actually removed all of these Impetus cards. And then we have another enchantment, 3 and white, cast out, flash. So when it ETBs, exile a target non-land permanent opponent controls until cast out leaves the battlefield, and which you can also cycle. Spirit Cairn, enchantment, 2 and white. Whenever player discards a card, you may pay white if you do create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. Then you have a Hieroglyphic Illumination, allows you to draw cards. The Vizier of Tumbling Sands, untap target permanent, and you can cycle this as well. And when you do, you can untap a permanent. Windfall allows you to discard, each player discards their hand and draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. You get a new set of cards. Lightning Rift, 1 and red. Whenever a player cycles a card, you may pay 1. If you do, it deals 2 damage to any target. Slice and Dice, deals 4 damage to each creature. You can cycle it, and if you do cycle it, you may have it deal 1 damage to each creature. And last, we have a sorcery, the Migratory Root. So it's 3 and white blue. Create 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying, and it has basic land cycling for 2. Alright, so now we go on to the commanders. We have Gavi Nest Warden. She costs 2 blue, red, white to cast. So 5 mana. She's a legendary creature, human shaman. That's a nice foil. And just to read the text again, you may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. And then whenever you draw your second card each turn, you can create a 2/2 red-white dinosaur cat creature token. 2/5. Right, and then we have the secondary commander, which is Akim, the Soaring Wind, with the casting cost about the same. Legendary creature, bird dinosaur, another mythic. So flying 3/4. Whenever you create 1 or more tokens for the first time each turn, you create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Right, and then if you pay 3 blue, red, white creature tokens you control, gain double strike until end of turn. So this would be quite dangerous if you have those flying tokens in the air or tokens with evasion, and then you can activate this ability to give them double strike. The next we have Brawlin, Sky Shark Rider, 3 and 1 red, Human Shaman, partner with Shabraz the Sky Shark. Whenever you discard a card, put a 1/1 counter on Brawlin, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Target shark, if pay red, target shark gains trample until end of turn, and that target shark would be Shabraz the Sky Shark. It's a 3/3 shark bird. Costs 3 white blue to cast, and it's flying. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Shabraz, and you gain 1 life. And if you pay white or blue, target human gains flying until end of turn. So I actually have played against this deck that was put together by my friend Chum Q, and I can tell you that this is a pretty nasty combination. I think for this particular commander, it's probably Shabraz and Brawlin together that offer the best combination for making the most of this particular deck. Especially if you upgrade it, this gets particularly nasty after a while. So I don't have a lot of good memories with these two together. Definitely a pairing that is I would say quite strong. I'll see if it's something that I can put together and use. I'll try it out. But otherwise, I think this is a very strong commander precon. It would be interesting to see how we can further upgrade this. I know that there are videos already there with some suggestions, so let me look into that and see if these would be actually good recommendations to set up. But I'm thinking of maybe looking at using Brawlin and Shabraz. And not sure about Gavi Nest Warden though. Not too sold on her abilities, and again, it costs quite high to cast. So we'll see how useful that would be. But another, well, looking at the other cards, there are several cards here that are quite useful. And again, really the main goal for me of getting this was getting myself a Fierce Guardianship, which basically pays for the entire set. So this would definitely be something that I would be using in play for my blue counter deck, and hopefully I can take advantage of one of these commanders. Alright, so that's it for my unboxing. I hope you enjoyed watching this particular video. So hope to see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.